What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back. Here we are at game number 2 between IdrA and Kitty. We're still on the same map, Crossfire. This time we have got Kitty spawning in the upper right-hand position as our Red Terran player, and IdrA in the lower left-hand position. So yes, this is game number 2 here between these two players. IdrA managing to win last game with some pretty impressive engagements there. The very first big engagement, he was able to just completely overwhelm Kitty. Kitty just did not have the forces necessary to take him, and after that point, IdrA pretty much had the game, especially since we saw zero response from Kitty. There was no dropping or anything like that. He just tried his big death push, and then that was that. So, also some muta harass follow-up from IdrA allowed him to continuously add to his advantage and the eventual victory. So there you have it, my friends. There you have it indeed. A little bit of a discussion here between IdrA and Kitty again. They seem to be quite chummy, and that is always nice to see. Alright, so let's take a look here. Kitty is going with the standard again, 10 depot into 12 racks. Now last game I did talk about how effective tanks can be on this map, but again, you saw in IdrA's play how to deal with that. It's just all about getting the right size force and waiting till the perfect moment to engage, and then of course using those speedlings and banelings in conjunction with those mutas to overwhelm that marine tank force. And yes, there you go. All right, so a little bit more discussion here. They're actually talking about MLG. How exciting is that? Looking forward to some more of that stuff. And actually, what if there's a vote? You guys should vote for me to cast there. That'd be awesome, huh? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't know if I even have the time. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? That'd be cool, though. That'd be awesome. IdrA's super happy about Protoss. Oh, man. I've grown quite fond of the IdrA rage, I must say, even though that wasn't necessarily IdrA rage, just him talking. But that's enough of me talking. SCV Scout now moving out here for Kitty. IdrA moving across with that Overlord Scout, secondary Overlord, pushing over into this position. And here comes that Drone Scout as well. IdrA once more opening up with some one-base play, going early gas to get that metabolic boost very early on. You can see he's going to be hitting 100 Vespene just about at the same time as that spawning pool finishes, letting him get that very early metabolic boost. Kitty first checking the gas and then moving in, and actually we will be seeing a Reaper opening here. So that is great that IdrA moved out there with that Drone Scout right now, because he will now be aware of this. Tech Lab means a Reaper opening in this matchup. You don't see a Marauder opening in TVC. I'm sorry it doesn't happen, because it's stupid. It would be awful. Opening up with the Marauders against early game Speedlings, you'd get crushed. I mean, Marauders are not good against Zerglings whatsoever, especially with IdrA's build too, and going for that fast metabolic boost, it would be a pretty tough sell. So SCV Scout will be checking these Zerglings moving across the map. We have got 4 of them, in fact. Drone now pushing out to the expansion, and the Zerglings are grabbing that tower. It's probably going to force that Reaper to try to avoid it. I don't know if that's going to happen, though. No, Reaper's going straight for the Lings, because he realizes that right now they have free kills, and IdrA realizes the same thing, and he's going to be trying to pull back home. Should be able to make it. Might lose 1 Ling, as the Reaper's going to take a corner here. And there it is. 1 shot, 2 shots. See ya later. Let's watch this Reaper chase down some Speedlings, shall we? That's not what I wanted to hit. There we go. Reaper now going for the Expo, doing a little bit of damage and jumping up onto the high ground. And he's got free reign right now. The only danger is the Queens. Once that metabolic boost finishes, that Reaper will all of a sudden be in a heap load of trouble. But until then, he can do some damage. And he's laying waste to this expansion. No, he won't kill it, but he is softening it up so very much that in a secondary push, it'll have a lot less HP, and he'll be able to take it down much more quickly. Now metabolic boost is here. Reaper's pushing up to try to spot that, though. Catches the Speedlings, pulls down, going to get hit by the Queen as 1 shot, 2 shot. He's got nowhere to go. Going to try to dance up and down, but he gets taken out, and the Speedlings on the high ground were ready to deal with him, even if he made it up there. Overlord now situated over here, has scouted out the Expo, so he knows what's coming. We are going to have, there we go, Blue Flame Research finally coming through. And why is that thumbnail still orange? That's a good question. It is a good question indeed. Hatchery, again, as you can see, is weakened up. If you hurt something, if you attack something while it's building, if you attack these hatcheries, these Zerg buildings while they're building, then they're of course going to be softened up. And that way, once they finish with less HP, you can do a bit of damage to it. So something to keep in mind, my friends, something to keep in mind. I mean, again, that's not a lot, but that's a little bit, a few bars less of health, and that means a quicker snipe once an eventual follow-up push comes out. IdrA mixing things up this game. He's got the layer coming out, but he'll be going Roach centric this time instead of the Speedling Baneling Muto. We'll be seeing a little bit different tactics here from him. Again, we are going to have those Blue Flame Hellions. Actually, I want to check to see what IdrA scouted. Yes, he did see the Tech Lab factory, so he's probably expecting those Blue Flame Hellions, and that informed his decision to go Roach to try to deal with that a little easier. Also, that one Spine coming on through. Roach Warren will be done very shortly. Roaches aren't going to be out in time for this push, though. Here come those Blue Flame Hellions. That Infernal Predator almost finished. Should be finished just about when he hits. Let's see what he's able to do for damage. Needs to be wary of the Spine. We got a Queen, 2 Queens, preventing those Hellions from doing much of anything. Very nice placement here of the Queens as well as that Spine. This is making things a little bit difficult here for Kitty, and Kitty actually pulling back, deciding not to engage here. More and more Hellions coming out. I didn't even catch that second factory. A second factory with a reactor, so it's going to be a massive Blue Flame Hellion push. He's just teasing with it now. Going to push forward, though, and try to do some damage, killing off a few drones. Speelings helping get this around, forcing them into the corner, but going to get a couple shots off and taking out most of those Langs. A good job here. Roaches coming up to meet the last of the Hellions, and that gets taken out. So we will be seeing some massive Hellion engagements here as he keeps pumping it out. Never mind, switch it up. Rax now getting placed on that reactor. Going to get another Tech Lab here, and we're going to see that tank follow up, deciding to give up on Hellions for now. He's just got those 3 at the moment. Let's take a look at how much damage he was able to do. It's disappointing. Only killing off 3 workers. He killed off a bunch of Speedlings, though, as you can see. Managed to get off a few of them, but overall, he's behind right now with 800 resources lost, as opposed to the 600 of IdrA. So IdrA at the moment, doing all right. Didn't take too much damage from that. He obviously knows that Roaches are out as well, so that's going to, of course, that's probably part of the reason why he decided to make a switch to siege tanks immediately. I was expecting that to come eventually, of course, but I was almost expecting a few more rounds of Hellions to come out. But I'm assuming as soon as he saw those Roaches, he's like, now it's time to get some siege tanks. That's going to help a bit. Also going to have some mutas come on through, so we'll be a Roach muta right now. A level 1 air attack upgrade coming through here for IdrA's mutalist. Or just our air units, period, not necessarily just those mutas. And yes, 7 of them will be popping very, very shortly. And he'll be moving out with that right after that to try to do some damage there. Now, let's see if we can end up seeing an armory down here for Kitty to get some Thors in play. Nothing yet. He does have 1 medevac coming out there of the starport. No Vikings or anything. Vikings actually aren't even a really good response to mutas anyways. So Hellions now push back, and I do believe they spotted those mutas as well as that Roach there. We're going to see IdrA try to continue up this creep spread here. Although it looks like he did lose his advancing creep tumor, so he's going to be forced to drop another one if he wants to keep that up. Yeah, he's got 1 over here, but there you go. Mutas moving forward. They do end up walking into a turret and pulling back. Numbers are still small. 4 more in production. He's got 8 in play, so he'll be sitting on 12. And at that point, he'll probably be able to engage some turrets. But up until then, he has a hard time against turrets with just the number that he has at the moment. Here comes a push right now from Kitty. Kitty making his way across the map, much like we saw in that first game. He's making this early push. Let's see how much damage he can do with this. He's going to force those mutas back at the least. Those Marines are the only response to it, but he's got enough Marines stimming up and pulling forward. Didn't end up killing any of those mutas, but we'll be getting a free Overlord. Let's see a scan for some creep tumor ownage, huh? Actually gonna be shelling out the buildings over here. The Baneling Nest is within range. That's dangerous. IdrA needs to hit this soon, or else he's gonna be forced to cancel here. Got Marines pulling forward to try to deal with those mutas. Nice engagement. Roaches move forward as well. Some good micro, though, from those Marines, and all the Roaches are gone, and the Marines will be taking out these mutas. Still got some Hellions to deal with the Speelings in the front. Oh, no, the mutas just enough to overwhelm, and now Kitty will be losing the rest of his tanks. He's going to try to do what damage he can before he loses that. Really softening up. That Evolution Chamber takes out the Evolution Chamber, but the Baneling Nest is still there. And the last of the tanks will be taken out. Kitty pulling back with his forces yet again. IdrA able to overwhelm Kitty's engagement. Now we are seeing a third base come down here for Kitty. Is Kitty going to continue to try to keep this up here? It looks like he will be trying to move out yet again. Deciding, you know what, I am not going to wait any longer. Last game, after his first engagement got overwhelmed, he waited a while before he attempted anything else. Kitty's just going to be following this up immediately. He's going to need to bolster up those Marine numbers, though, to deal with those mutas, because the mutas were the death of him in the last engagement. There are 12 in play now with the 13th coming through. So Triple Hook's finally coming on in for those Banelings, and he's going to need those to help overwhelm the Marine and tank numbers that are going to be pushing towards him right now. And actually, we'll be seeing Kitty take a different route here. Is he going straight for that third base? He may very well be doing just that. A few more Marines and a tank coming through. There is a scouting Hellion. And let's see, he's going to be just checking for the expansion. There it is. Now he knows. And Muta's chasing that Hellion all over the place. This is going to allow these forces to advance. Oh my gosh. The Muta's chasing those Hellions, allow the Marines and tanks to go straight for this Expo, and that's going to get dropped. Now, what does IdrA do? Is he going to be pushing to engage it? Look at this choke here on the ramp. Ooh, that is pretty nice to stop those Speedlings from being able to push on in. We're going to just see a counterattack here. And let's see how Kitty is going to be able to defend. This expansion is going to get dropped very quickly. He's taking care of that, but here comes the counterattack with those Speedlings, Banelings, and Mutas. Pulling down with his forces. More Marines in the back over here. We're going to see a couple bunkers get placed down. IdrA pushing forward, trying to snipe that tank. He gets the only tank that's there. Marines trying to do what they can. Speedlings and Banelings getting us around. The Banelings pop on all of those Marines. And that is going to do it. Going to be losing his the rest of his forces here. He's going to need to pull back, and that's what he's doing. Kitty pulling all the way back. He has managed to take out the Expo. Still got a few remaining Marines. And, oh my gosh, the forces will be back in time before IdrA is able to do too much damage. IdrA was not able to get through into the main. He just did not have the forces. A couple of tanks getting taken out over here by the Mutas. We're going to need some Marines to come back to take care of this. Down to just 2 tanks right now over in this position. There should be enough Marines. It's going to be close. We got a lot of medevacs healing them up. 2 more Marines over here, and it is enough to force him back. Kitty has this expansion up with a planetary and a couple of turrets to defend it. And that is really, really good for Kitty, and very unfortunate there for IdrA, because IdrA losing that expansion, but didn't end up doing any economic damage. Now, he did, of course, do damage. We'll take a look over here. Although IdrA is behind at the moment, he did manage to do some damage in that push, took out a lot of Kitty's forces, but did no economic damage. This expansion's up and running. This expansion didn't take a hit at all, as Kitty was able to pull back and deter those forces from doing any more damage. After already taking out the third. Now IdrA is trying to drop another third over in this position. Let's see if that gets spotted though. I'm not sure if he's checked it yet. No, he's not, but he's now moving forward with a Marine just in case, and looky here. Spots the expansion. So now he knows, okay, there's an Expo over here. Let's do something about it, huh? Let's see if he's going to send down a few forces. We'll be actually moving out with a few scouting Marines. He's just checking. I love this. I absolutely love this so much, so much. Move out with those Marines and just check those expansions. Marine is pretty cheap, and the intel that you get from it is well worth it. So he's moving down and just trying to see what he can see. He's got this one still on the way, and he's just going to be rechecking this bottom right position, and you got to love it. This is what you got to do, man. Instead of dropping scans every 5 seconds, just send out those cheap Marines. It's even better as a Zerg player to just send out a Ling to any expansions, because not knowing about an opponent's expansion is going to pretty much kill you. But losing a Marine isn't really the worst thing, so it's well worth the trade-off. All right, so now we're going to be seeing Kitty move down, as we do have IdrA's forces mounted up in this position. Pretty certain that IdrA knows about that upper left-hand location. Yes, he does. He knows about that expansion over there. Here come the Speedlings. The Banes getting a full surround on the tanks. Marines moving down, splitting against those Banelings. Enough Marines to do some more damage. The tank getting overwhelmed, and a couple Lings pulling back. Again, IdrA able to just massacre those forces there. Kitty doesn't have a drop or anything going on. Oh, yes he does. Drop back here, just as I say that. Drop right in back of the natural, able to do some damage. A couple more Marines gonna do what they can against this queen. He's gonna get taken out though. Nice. I want to see how many workers did he kill. Rue Kitty killing off so many workers. So ridiculous you can invest that much into Hellions early, fail, and still be ahead. Well, yeah, you know. Yeah, man. That was a very nice drop. And, you know, again, we've been looking at these engagements, and IdrA's been doing a phenomenal job. He's been mopping up Kitty just one engagement after the other. The issue is the economic issue is what's coming into play here, though, because Kitty is still ahead economically, and IdrA hasn't really managed to do much economic damage, whereas Kitty's managed so far this game to kill off 27 workers. And, you know, IdrA himself said that he feels right now that Kitty is ahead, even though he's been winning these engagements. But this engagement isn't winnable there, as his Mutas are going to be forced back, and IdrA just leaves the game. There you have it, my friends. Alright guys, that was game number 2 here between IdrA and Kitty. We will be moving on to game 3 in just a moment. Now this game, although IdrA did a wonderful job during each and every one of these engagements, he unfortunately wasn't able to do any economic damage, and Kitty was. As a result, IdrA, feeling he was just way too far behind, ended up leaving the game. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for game 3 in just a moment, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.